Good. Then let's continue. The material on our high platform facing the ground. Then it will be relatively complicated, because there will be 2 layers of shadows underneath it. Let's complete these 2 layers of shadow and this color together. So first we make its first layer of shadow. Let's create a new shader first. Let's delete its default material. Then its first layer of shadow is to simulate the shadow cast from the tree. But need to pay attention. This shadow is actually a fake shadow. In other words, it does not completely depend on the position of your tree to produce an effect. Son, it's just a picture with a shadow on the screen. That's all. So how should it be done? First, we can create a gradient color. Right? It's a color gradient. It is one of our most commonly used nodes. Right? First, make a gradient color. Then let's create a gradient texture. We can first output this gradient color. We can see, although there is color on this grass, but it cannot be displayed correctly at all. What kind of gradient color do we want? So we're going to use a gradient texture. Give the color of the gradient texture to our coefficient. He knew it at this time. Our gradient is a line, just from one side to the other side. So I need one here. A shadow spreading outward from the center of the trunk. So we can change linear to spherical. That is to say, I want it to be a spherical shadow. So when we switch to a spherical shadow, you will find that the results it gets are actually not accurate. So let's select this gradient texture now. Use the accounting key country plus T. Automatically connect it to our mapping. And a texture coordinate of UV, right? After connecting, we change the way it is generated to an object. Don't use generate. Use objects. Generated words. Our sphere is generated starting from the lower left corner of the model. Of words of objects. It's generated starting from our dot. So now it looks like. It just feels like a small round ball. Of course, if you just want to get a round shadow. I feel pretty good now actually. Not bad. It's a bit similar. But the shadow we want it to appear. More random effects. So we're here. Need to make it circular. Do a little bit of damage. So how should we destroy it? Let's come back to CF plus A. Create a new wave texture. Then we also give this a wave texture. Also copy our color gradient above. CFD can be copied downwards. Then connect the coefficients of the wave. We can take this wave texture. Connected to the surface above. We can take a look. What about the so-called wave texture? It looks more like some smoke. Just when we do the replacement, the texture map of the cloud sequence used is very similar too. So it's some random smoky feeling. We use it. In fact, a similar effect can be produced. Then what? We will also use the shortcut key Control plus T to create the wave texture. So what will we find? The front of our wave-making texture is pretty good. But what about its sides? You will feel like you are being squashed. Then we still use objects. Now our wave texture can fill our area very accurately. The model is up. So now we actually have 2 textures. Above is our gradient texture. We can export it to C. This is the effect. Below is the wave texture. This is the effect. We can superimpose these 2 effects together. How to superimpose? We can use the shortcut key Shift plus A. Then we can find a mixed color among the colors. There will be 2 channels AB here. We can combine the first color and the second color. Let it all get mixed in. Then do the output. Then we can see 2 results at the same time. So actually, if we enable the previous node plugin, we can use shortcut keys. In other words, a node of the mixture. We don't have to manually create blended colors. We can hold down the country key and the shift key on the keyboard at the same time. Then use your right mouse button. Pull a line. Put these 2 nodes. Just put it together into one piece. Then it will automatically help us connect into a hybrid node. One in channel A, one in channel B. Then we output the result. Result output. You don't need it either. Use the left mouse button to pull it. Of course, you can pull it like this too. Then we actually have a shortcut key. Still follow the instructions on the keyboard. Control key and Shift key. Click on this blend with your left mouse button. It will output it. Click again. If you have multiple output nodes here, you click again. It will switch the output sequentially. Let's say it has two. We follow the Control key and Sim key. Just click it, and it will be output. Click again, and it will output alpha. Repeat. It can be among these two output nodes. To switch. Good. Now it's actually mixed in. It contains the effect of the first gradient texture. Also contains the second. The effect of one of our wave-making textures. Did you see it? There will be a coefficient on it. Let's take a look at the coefficient. If we have a coefficient of 0. If so, it will completely output the one above. If the gradient ontology has a coefficient of 1, it completely inputs and outputs the following. If the coefficient of our blogging ontology is, if 0.5, it is completely. If 0.5 is output. Is each output half? Each output's half okay now. It doesn't look like anything at all. Then let's continue creating. Color among colors. Gradient we blend it in. After the color gradient is mixed in, we change the color. The gradient type is changed to long straight, and then let's adjust it a little bit. Did you see it? Now words. There will be one among us. It's such a kind. Feels like a map, right? Ultimately, we want a shadow like this. It's relatively random on the edges. Then it's random effect. Depends on the scaling value of our wave texture. You can adjust it so that its edges can create just the effect we want. I don't want it to be too crumbly either, right? We can let it be. Just have a little bit of a graphic feel. For example, it looks like this. Then the size of its circle is affected by the gradient texture above. Because it is spherical, under its control, we can add more white. Its circle will be larger. What if we add more black? It will make the circle smaller. That's why we have to be in front of them. Let's put 2 color gradients. Then we need to know now. Then the white areas are shadows. Of course, you can also choose from our current colors. Let's give them both the reverse. That is to say, we put it into a black shadow. Will look a little more intuitive. Really think it should be a shadow. Then don't add too much black. Otherwise, some effects will appear randomly on the edge. So now we have a simulated a shadow on the tree. So besides that, it itself means that it is a little lower. There will also be a shadow. What should I do with that shadow? Let's do a second set of shadows. Then the second blocker. We still need a color gradient. Or you can change the color gradient above. You can also copy it. Then what? Let's use a node in a color again. Is this shader to RGB? We use a node like this. Then we go and create a slow color node. Here, slow color node. We connect them in turn. A node group like this is formed. Then let's output it. Let's adjust the effect. Then I'll turn it around. The colors black and white are reversed. The shadow will be more like. So the node group we are adjusting now. It's when we are making some 3-turn-2 materials. A frequently used node group. It is a slow color shader. The light and shadow above turn into colors. Then convert it to the color. Through one of our what? Via one of our gradient colors. Made it into a 2-color. Then this node group. It's affected by our lighting. In other words, which side does our light face? In fact, its light and shadow will undergo certain changes. So we all need to focus on recording it. Such a set of node combinations. Then it is mostly used when we do some 2 out of 3 choices. Or some combinations of stylized material nodes. It will be used this way. Okay, so now we have 2 node groups. So the top looks like this. This is what it looks like below. Then we need to mix these 2 node groups. Mix again. Also press the Control key and Safe key on the keyboard. We use the right button of the mouse to connect them both. Mix together. So now you can see the results of their two shadows all appeared. But there will also be a problem. It is because it is affected by the coefficient. So if we pull the coefficient to 0, it will fully display the results above. If it is pulled to 1, it will be completely displayed as the result below. If it is 0.5, just show half of each. Is there a way? Let them both show up completely. Right? I don't want them to show half. Or just show a. What I want is to try to show them all. Some brothers. Some. Then we can use the above blending mode. Change from this blend to positive overlay. It will tell you here that it is an established method. After changing to multiply, we can fill up the coefficient. That's it. If some students have used Photoshop, then you will understand the meaning of overlaying the two pictures together. If there are students who have never used Photoshop, he even said that he didn't know what the overlapping of two-dimensional films meant. Let me give you a simple example. What does it form when combined with each other? Of course, it's the color relationship between the A channel and the B channel. Let's take a look at the relationship between this color. Now we give all black and white. That white is equal to 1. What about black? Equal to 0, right? 1 and 0. Okay, what if it's gray? Let's be a little more extreme. Let's say medium gray. Then it is probably 0.5. Then what we use next is a multiplication. What about multiplication? Let's go take a look. First, take a look at our first picture. What about the first picture? Let's look at it alone. We will find out whether the position of the shadow is black. So where is this place? In fact, its value should be 0. The white place is 1. Okay, what about the second part? Let's pay attention. The bottom is black. So that means its lower side is 0. Above is 1, right? So now we as a whole just know some of their color relationships, right? Then you know white is. And what about when black is 0? Let's put them now. Mixed into one piece by multiplication. We can know. They will get a. What result? That is to say, regardless of these two channels. Who is black? As long as these two channels. One is black. Because black is 0. 0 to multiply gray or white. Any color. Then it means that all that comes out are zeros. That is black. So that means, when these two are mixed, if there is black on it, then it must be black. If there is black underneath, it must be black. Then there will be some public areas in the middle. It is white, that is 1. Then 1 if multiplied by. If it's multiplied by it's still white. Then it is still white. Right? It's just still 1. 1 is white. What if it is multiplied by gray 0.5? Then it's still gray 0.5. Right? So what if it is multiplied by 0 and is black? Right? Then it is equal to black. So this is an algorithm for its multiplication. So we use the algorithm of multiplication. In fact, you can keep it. The two black areas on our screen. Right? Two black areas will be completely preserved. That's what it is now. Nothing more. This black area below. It will be affected by the direction of the light. When you rotate your sunbeam, its angle will change. So this black area under the big tree, it is made with a fixed texture. So it won't change an angle. What about the whole? That's what it means. Then they will now get one black and one white, two colors. We need to combine these two colors. Make some modifications. You can continue to use color gradients to modify these two colors. Or you can use mixed colors to modify these two colors. All is okay. If you use gradient colors, we also changed into straight. So let's look at black. It's the shadow part. White is the part without shadow. It can also be used to change. Or we use mixed colors. Mixing is the same as before. You insert that into our mix as well. Pay attention to insert it into its coefficient. Then it can command our two channels AB below. Let's just change it to black. Did you see it? Then the A channel is equivalent to the shadow. The B channel is equivalent to the color outside. So these two methods. In fact, It doesn't matter which node you use. Let's just use any one. Mix with. Then the black shadow part. We can adjust it to a slightly darker green color. Slightly darker green. A little darker. Okay. Then there is a slightly lighter green color in the B channel. In other words, it represents the color that is being illuminated by the sun. A slightly darker green. A slightly greener one. Okay. So now the grass above our steps is color, right? Let's make it. It's also quite simple. Nothing is too difficult. Just such several node groups. I hope everyone can understand how they operate. Isn't it? Even in the second grade of elementary school, the arithmetic of addition, subtraction, and multiplication is relatively simple. Okay, so what if this is the case? We have finished the material for this small rug. So next, we will use almost the same method. Let's also make the material of this staircase. What about the effect of the small escalator next to it? The usage is the same as the 3Circle2 material node below. We first create a new material for it, and then we delete it. Let's do it again here. Let's build another one. A material node chosen from 2 out of 3. First create a color gradient. Then in the color, there is a shader at the bottom to convert to RGB. Let's create a shader. Then you can use diffuse color as shader, or the first time you used it. This principal BSDF node will work. The results obtained are actually the same. But if you use principal BSDF, there is more content in it. So we usually use one. Relatively simple content, right? Comic color, so it will be simpler. Then a gradient on the front. We can make it straight. So that means the lighted place and the shadowed place. It will produce a dichroic, a harder color dividing line, rather than a slowly passing color dividing line. So these two colors, we want it to be a little bit darker. One is slightly shallower. The area exposed to light is slightly shallower. A place not exposed to light. Let's make it a little bit darker. Make the color darker. Give Baukidu a little bit higher. That is, it's such an effect. So what about the others? We all associate it with a material like this. Control L to associate it. Right? Very good. Then what? And the part between us. What about the middle part? We can also relate it. Control plus is the L key. Let's connect it. But what about its color? We'd better make a slight modification. Let's copy it. All nodes can be unchanged. Where is it? We can change it slightly to a more medium yellow color. Make it a slightly different color. So it looks like this. It will be richer with some changes. Then a few others. We were all fooled by it. I associate material. Then there is one among us. Small plate like a sliding shoe. It's words. We don't need it to change color. Just have a flat color. So we will delete it directly. It's default material. We have used flat colors many times. Use a self-illumination directly. Or RD color will do. Directly we output. We can choose a slightly biased color for it. Just beige. Is it a little beige? Okay, then we will associate it with the other one. Control L will associate it with it. In this case, the material of our small staircase will be ready. There will be a small problem here. If you look at the stairs on our left, the light and shadow are more obvious. After reaching the right side, the light and shadow are not obvious. The reason is that the right side is facing the sun. So it feels like it is a bright part as a whole. The shadow part seems to be hidden. This is a quite natural situation. Because after all, you will be affected by the sun. It has the potential to produce full color shadows at certain angles, or an effect of full color highlight. But because of our control over the screen, I suggest that if you want to modify it individually, for example, R1 and these three, let's find one first and copy it. Then take the ratio of the highlight area to the shadow area. Adjust it yourself. Right? Adjust it a little. Let its shadows and highlights be displayed. Then reassociate the other two with it. So if this is the case, the three of them share the same material. Then the three on the left also share the same material. In this case, let's adjust it artificially. The color effect it gets will be more beautiful. So sometimes we are doing some stylized content. It feels more like painted content. So a lot of our subjective opinions will be involved. Ideas and effects. So we're going to adjust it a little bit. Okay, let's talk about this part of the material first. Then we'll continue talking after we come back from etiquette class.